The 2025 Visa CEMEA Security Summit convened in Cape Town, South Africa, under the theme Safeguard, the Next Generation of Digital Experiences. The annual event brought together industry leaders to discuss and address security challenges across regions in Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Over 200 industry leaders and experts gathered to shape the future of payments security through innovation, collaboration, and leadership.
The main reason why we are here is just to protect our customers, to learn from the industry experts, to understand what solutions are there, to understand where the market is going in terms of fraud, in terms of cyber, and then borrow the best practice, bring it back at home, protect our customers, protect the bank, protect our merchants, and just be forward-looking. So basically and some of the solutions are being exhibited here, the feature space solution, using AI. If you look at where the trend is going, you look at cryptocurrency, you look at cyber security, you look at AI. So we are looking, how do we leverage?
We need to understand what's coming in the payment. There is now digital transformation coming in place, cashless in society and environments. Most of the countries need to minimize the dependencies on cash, new payment method. All this new and emerging technology face a lot of challenges when it comes to cyber threats. And this is our rules to secure the environments and the payment environments within banks and fintech companies.
What's interesting is the evolving fraud landscape. The more you move from your plastic or your card into your digital spaces, the complex it becomes. If you couple that with your cyber threats and a lot of AI, it becomes really complex. So I guess for us is really to get solutions in just empowering and improving our fraud detection and investigation capabilities. So it's the future growth part of it in making sure that we remain relevant in the market.
And the reason we are here, actually, to Malibu's point, is to move with the times and to protect our clients and to actually find better ways of enhancing our fraud solutions in our model so that we enhance whatever we have in our capability as Investec.
I think what's nice to see is that Visa is very much in touch with the problems that banks face in South Africa. Been attacks, how to use AI on a day-to-day basis, and then providing solutions in that regard. So I think as FNB, we're already using some of those solutions, but we're excited for now what are additional opportunities on the horizon.
The digital era brings huge opportunities, but also escalating fraud threats. To stay ahead of this fast-paced environment, Visa is investing in cutting-edge technologies, advocating for responsible AI regulation, and empowering consumers through education and transparency.
One of the use cases that we've talked about is the bad guys stealing identity. And one of the ways they steal your identity is if they can provision a token, your token, on their phone. So that is a real moment of truth. And we've got new tech there as well to be able to help you know when to provision a token and when not to provision a token. So these are all ways where we probabilistically determine whether it is me trying to do this. We also know with the advent of real-time payment systems, not only do I know that, does my bank need to know if it's me? My bank really needs to understand if the person I'm sending it to is the person that should be receiving it. So we've got new tools, Visa Protect for A to A, to be able to work on RTP rails to solve that problem. We've invested $3 billion in the last 10 years, and we're going to continue to invest in all of our tools. So we move from the world of probabilistic, do I think it's this person, where the rates have gotten better and better, to something that's more deterministic, digital identity. Governments are moving from physical identity to digital identity. It is great. It provides more certainty, and we are in the payments world as well. Last June, at our VPF, we talked about a new solution we have. And this is Alex. And Alex used to live in a simple world where the physical card was secured. We knew it was going to be good. There was very little fraud on a face-to-face transaction. We had put all of these features and functionality to stop that. Well, guess what? The world has changed radically. Alex traverses social, digital, buying different things, and it's become much more difficult to know who Alex is. So we're using FIDO, Fast Identity Online Standards, to launch a Visa Payments Passkey to be able to help when Alex is going to use the biometrics on her phone. We're capable of putting a private key on the phone and an associated public key on our network.
Every year, Visa conducts a Stay Secure campaign. What is this campaign? Its foundation is a survey that we conduct across our region. It's in its 9th year. In the first year, 2016, we did it in 1 market. We are now in 17 markets. So across 17 markets in CEMEA, we look at, we meet consumers, we interview them, and we conduct research. So close to 6,000 consumers have been researched across these 17 markets. And I'm going to share with you some of the outcomes of this research. So the first finding from the research is that digital payments are on the rise. Surprise to anybody? Not really, because we've taken this giant leap forward as part of the pandemic to go digital. So almost two-thirds of consumers researched anticipate to use digital payments more in the next 12 months. So this surge continues, and Andrew showed us some data that actually factually bears that out. Over half of the folks interviewed make payments online with their credit and debit cards, and this is 9% up from the previous year's study. Interestingly, half of the mobile payments are now happening through smartphone apps. So there is certainly a shift towards going up the value chain in terms of the kind of transactions that happen. And smartphone applications can only happen if consumers are actually using smartphones. So there's this momentum towards more digital applications and more payments happening through them. If we look at what the split is across the 17 markets in our region in terms of the consumers anticipating to use more digital payments, you would see Kenya is right at the top of the charts. So there's a lot of momentum in Africa around growing and participating more in digital payments.
Digital payment technology has revolutionized the way we shop and conduct transactions. However, the rapid growth of digital payments has also paved the way for new types of fraud and scams, emphasizing the urgent need for robust security measures and ongoing consumer awareness.
We've seen this across some of our markets in sub-Saharan Africa, where fraudsters have figured out that getting their hands on the token is great, right? Because a token is bulletproof, it's secure technology. Yeah. Once you have a token, there's no reason for an issuer not to approve a transaction or a merchant not to accept it. Visa provisioning intelligence, we've made some steps in these markets as well in rolling out visa provisioning intelligence. I must say a number of issuers have adopted the technology, but there's still more to be done. And what provisioning intelligence is doing is it's just giving us the power, putting the power in the hands of the issuer to make better decisions, to judge with data, right? It's not just a random judgment call, but a data-driven, intelligence-driven decision on whether you go ahead with the provisioning or not. And coming soon is going to be Visa Provisioning Intelligence 2.0, again, which is the next generation. So all the investments, and I mentioned the headline number, but beyond the headlines, is really the power of what we are delivering through these investments and putting that power in the hands of our stakeholders and delivering real outcomes, outcomes that matter to our clients, but more importantly to their consumers. Yeah. So I'd like to segue from that, Aida, to talking about, you mentioned in your opening about the work that we're doing with governments and regulators. Can you share a little bit more about that domain? Because that's an important domain, especially in markets that are early stage development or emerging, and digitization, you mentioned, is a key priority. Can you help throw some light on these
Sure.
dimensions?
Yeah, what we're seeing is that, of course, regulators are playing an important part in defining, the framework under which, financial inclusion is going to happen and how, we are, implementing innovation. But what we're seeing as well is that they are deeply involved themselves in making sure that not only do they digitize their own operations, but that they are part of digitizing IDs, understanding that this is where commerce is going. So, we are helping them in that journey, partnering with the entire ecosystem, ranging from financial institutions to fintechs, to enable, that whole ecosystem, and ensuring that we overlay that to, security, systems and measures. But the other thing that we're doing as well is spending a lot of time, educating them on what we see, sharing trends. And we make that a dialogue in terms of understanding what their challenges are, but also sharing, again, some of the threats that we see at the global level to help them. And we've partnered with governments across the region. Kenya is one example where, the central bank has reached out to us and say, come and spend time and talk to the, financial institutions, fintechs, and our own teams, and make sure that you share best practices. And I think this is something that we like to do and we want to continue to expand doing.
Despite the risk of fraud and scams, the adoption of digital payments across Africa continues to rise. Insights from the Visa Stay Secure Study 2025 reveals that across all markets, consumers have embraced digital payments, with 76% confirming they mostly or completely trust digital payments. It is clear that consumers across the Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa are increasingly prioritizing security while embracing digital payments.